Hello, guys. Welcome back to the G&A Podcast. I am the student council president who wants to be prom queen, Juvidu.
And I'm your ex who shit talks you in front of your new girlfriend, Sober Oni.
Welcome back to the G&A Podcast, where we talk about all things anime, the good, the bad, and the weeb. How are you tonight, Oni?
I am doing wonderful because we had a wonderful week of anime. How are you doing, Drew?
I've been better. As I just told you, I just got like a random headache. Like, bruh, it felt like someone just falcon punched me upside the head. But you know what? We are going to live.
Yes, we'll make it through.
Yeah, so let us begin with our first new segment this week in anime. Actually, I think Oni is going to be leading the charge on this one, so take it away, Oni.
Yeah, so this isn't so much as a news piece as it is like a conversation piece. But essentially, as you all know, the new season of anime started. Uzaki-chan came out. It's been 2 episodes now. And a lot of initial impressions have been released by the press, the anime press. And I think this is gonna if you're following Twitter or YouTube, the controversy is a lot of the Anime News Network reviewers and the press at large have like slammed it. I don't mean they gave it like moderates. They gave it like 1 out of 5, 10 out of 100, like really, really bad scores. It seems like there's a genuine hatred for this show among the elite press. And I think it's an interesting thing to talk about because there definitely is, I feel like, this part of the reviewing press, like even like big YouTubers and stuff, that is very just out of touch, like they're very elitist, out of touch with the community. And I think this is one of these perfect examples of it. So I have a review from James Beckett on Anime News Network here. I'll link it in the description down below. Now, this is just one review. I heard that there was a few different reviews, different scores. You can go on different websites and see them. But this one is the one I found, so we're going to take a look at it. So, right up front, the first, and shout out to him for being honest about this. I appreciate his honesty. He says, we should maybe get this out of the way up front. Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out is, by every indication of these first episodes, not a show I am particularly inclined to like. Then he goes on to say, the dumb jokes about Uzaki's disproportionately large breasts were especially annoying, and even as the show goes on to make jokes about her, he just doesn't find that interesting, and, quote, I just didn't laugh, and that was the worst first impression a comedy can make, and there is no worse first impression that a comedy can make than that. So my issue with these types of reviews kind of boils down to all of that. Dude, if you don't find this type of show interesting, as your first sentence points out, why in the ever-loving fuck are you reviewing it?
Okay, I was like, when he said, oh, first of all, I don't really watch shows like these. This isn't my cup of tea. I'm like, okay, so then the review should stop there, and then someone who actually is fine with ecchi should just step in and do it. Like,
pretty much.
See, that's why I don't know, take me for example. Now, I know that I do not. There's certain things about ecchi I like. There's some things about ecchi I don't like, for obvious reasons. Like, now, if you want me to review an ecchi that's just pure ecchi, just like, oh my god, my tits, like, I didn't give it the highest score. But I think I enjoy the genre enough to be like, okay, but I can take my bias out and remove, just like watch it. I can at least put my mindset of, okay, this is why I know what a good ecchi is.
Yeah.
Does this show fulfill that criteria? Yes or no? Period. Regardless how many like panty shots I cringe at. Like, that's how it is. And that's how I view like our podcast. There's tons of stuff that I do not care for, but when it comes down to me critiquing it, I try to take, to a certain extent, I try to give my objective views, or I try to be as objective as possible.
Well, my thing is also like, yeah, we review shows that we don't like. See Shadowverse from last season. But that's like because we're doing this for fun and we enjoy doing this and we love doing this. Dude, this dude is like paid to be a reviewer. Like this is his job. So I don't know. I feel like if you're going into it professionally, you really need to be professional about it, and you need
this
to
is
have
not professional.
You need to like know what to. If you're going into this and you're like, I don't find big breast jokes funny, dude. This isn't Madoka. This was not some weird subversion of your expectations. The first thing you see when you look up Uzaki-chan is a short girl with humongous tits. So I don't know, maybe if you don't like breast jokes, and you should know that that's going to be a big portion of the comedy in the show, and be like, whoa, I don't like this type of thing, maybe I shouldn't review this. Also, I would also go as far as to say you should be familiar with the source material if you're going to review it professionally, because all his impressions of the jokes is like, this isn't funny, this didn't work. Well, if you had reviewed the source material beforehand, it's not like this show's going way off the mark, or it's not Kaguya-sama where it's adding a bunch of spin on it and everything.
Exactly. This is some of these jokes are very run-of-the-mill, etchy, like comedy. Like, it is. And it's like, if that's not... Well, if you dislike it this much, you shouldn't have written a review on it. Period.
Pretty much, yeah. If you're going through it and you're like, man, I really can't stand this, and it's not working for me, and this is not my cup. Because then he goes on to say later on, but I try to remove my bias from it. But it's very clear that he doesn't, because he keeps going on. Like he'll say, I remove my bias, but also I hate the this is not my cup of tea. I don't like breast. Well, then you didn't remove your bias because you're clearly just stating your bias. So it's just. And I feel like this is definitely a thing that goes... Now we're going to get into the part of the I guess, this topic where he didn't specifically say these things, but there are a lot of reviewers who specifically hate this show because they're like, oh, this is just over-sexualizing a character, and they think that this is like... I think there's a review somebody said, or a tweet or something, like, oh, this setting anime back like 2 decades or something. Like if anime is this art form that has like, become some major, masterpiece, and we must progress. But I think that reviews like this bias that like people are just being too elitist. Like, dude, this is just a run-of-the-mill ecchi comedy anime, and
it's so crazy because you know what the crazy part about it is. It's not even that bad compared to, like, hello, where was this hate for any of the High School DxD series at any point? Like, those are literally
those are still airing. I mean, that was just like 2 years ago.
Those girls are literally taking off their clothes and like rubbing themselves on like a bunch of cats in heat.
I mean, how many anime do we have this season that's just... There's an anime this season about a dude just fucking random monsters or like monster girls because he has the best genes in the world. Like, the anime has not become like this puritanical thing, and I hate that approach where it's like, oh, we must be the Puritan police and all anime must be a higher level of art, like Citizen Kane or something. Nah, there's plenty of anime that are like that. Like, if you want something... Like, alright, see, this guy, what I'm seeing from his, review, he's like, I want something that's more cerebral and sets up jokes and stuff. Dude, you know what's airing this season? Oregairu. I feel like that might be a comedy that you might...
right up your alley.
Yeah, why didn't you review that? Or if you are reviewing that one, then drop this and review that, because that is a much more mature, cerebral, mostly drama, but still comedy. Like, if that's what you're looking for character development and good joke setup and all this stuff, you're not going to find that in Uzaki. I think people who are going into Uzaki know exactly what they want. And as far as that goes, the normal people who go into Uzaki know exactly what they're going in there for. So I just feel like this is kind of just a snobby, elitist kind of, oh no, this is not doing it for me.
Like, even it's like, I jokingly say that I'm like elitist because I'm just like Naruto's trash and garbage. But like this right here is like, bruh, what are you doing?
And I'm not saying you can't give it a low score because it's subjective. I mean, if you watch Uzaki and you're like, it's a 1, that's fair. But if your reasons for giving it a 1 are just because you're intrinsically biased towards these types of shows, that's not cool. Like, if your reason for giving it a 1 was, oh, I didn't like this particular segment and this and this and that and this, but this dude's reason for is I don't like the premise of the show being about large breasts and Uzaki being stupid.
God, so you hate all of the ecchi genre.
So then let me make this easy for you. You're not going to like the show, because I guarantee you This is not going to be a Madoka situation where it like pulls the rug out from you in episode 3 and it's like, we're actually a super mature, intricate comedy about. No, it's just going to be tit jokes and Uzaki being lewd and stupid the whole way through. So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like he simultaneously is not taking his job seriously enough and taking it too seriously at the same time. I don't know how that's possible, but like he didn't do the basic research on Uzaki while at the same time.
Honestly, I would argue and say he's not taking his job seriously at all. Like if I was his editor or whoever's in charge of him and saw that, I'd be like, and watch the anime, I'm like, dude, the fuck, like, like hello.
And video games do this a lot too. Video game reviews are like infamous for this, where the game will just be like a shooter and people will like it, and you'll see like the Metacritic review and it'll be like the critics give it a 1 out of 10 and everyone else gives it like an 8 out of 10 because it's just a fun shooting game or whatever. Not everything has to be a fucking work of art. And actually you can see that here. The community score on Anime News Network as of this recording right now for Uzaki episode 1 is a 4 out of 5. Now, mind you, and episode 2 is a 3.8 out of 5. So, mind you, that's probably inflated a bit. Like, they probably, like, review bombed it or whatever. Like, no, if you're going to give it a 1, we're going to give it a 5. But still, some of it is legit. So, just for the reviewer to be like, this is a 1, and then the community to be like, this is a 4, there's some very big discrepancy there.
And there's definitely, like, a disconnect.
And that's my whole point. There's a very big disconnect between these professional reviewers and just the casual anime fan. And if you're not catering your reviews towards the casual anime fan, then I ask, what is the point of your review?
Yeah, if it's just to say that it's just annoying because it's like you didn't even say anything like I get to hear anything substantial about that interview. Like, there's nothing. All I hear from this is that you don't like it because you don't like ecchi. That's all I took from your review. It's nothing. Like, this is what I mean by it's not professional, because there's nothing I can use to like influence my own decision, because I'm just getting whatever you feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing I can take. There's nothing really to factor in for me if I want to watch it or not. And that's the whole point of why people review things.
Yeah, I think if you're reviewing, you have to put yourself into the shoes of the person you're trying to review the show for. Like, if you're like a country music critic and you somehow are like, I'm going to review Eminem's new album. One, okay, that's all right. But you can't review it from the perspective of like, I only listen to country music, so now I'm going to review this rap album. No, you have to review it from the point of perspective. Like, if you're going into it like, all right, I'm someone who wants to watch a show about big tits and girls being stupid, and then you compare it to other shows about big tits and girls, which anime is not lacking, by the way. This is a very flooded genre of anime you can compare it to. So yeah, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, people are dumb. That's my other 2 cents. And I guess people at Anime Network can take that however they want to take that.
Indeed.
So with that being said, yes, let's move on into our weekly review. First up, we have V0 Season 2, Episode 2.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh, mine says Oregairu's first, but okay.
Oh, wait, does it? By the score?
Mm-hmm.
Let me refresh. I haven't refreshed it yet. Yep, you're right. My bad.
Yay, Oregairu beat out 3-0.
I'm actually happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Oregairu Season 3, Episode 2.
To be honest, I wasn't a big fan of this episode. I was a fan of parts of it. Parts of it were really good.
Yeah. First of all, I love how what's his name? Haruno?
Yeah.
Haruno. I love how she literally just becomes like this James Bond villain with just like drinking her champagne. They're like, you're drunk, you're gonna drink more champagne, and she's like, yeah, 'cause I'm an adult and life sucks, so that's why I can drink alcohol.
Yeah, the Haruno parts were the best parts of this episode. I'm actually kind of like, there was a moment in this episode where I'm like, man, am I shipping Hachiman and Haruno right now? Because they did a little thing
I
going.
don't know. Her being all drunk and leaning up on like Hachiman, them bonding because like, oh, we're the same people. I'm like, I actually kind of lost a little respect for her.
Well, that's the other thing. I feel like her character is really inconsistent across these 3 seasons. like she's all over the place. Season 2, she was a maniacal maniac supervillain, and now she's kind of like, oh yeah, I'll listen to what my sister has to say. I love my sister. I'm always looking out for my sister. No, you're not. What? This is not what you did in season 2.
I think she's a very complicated character, and you know, it makes sense why. Do I think the execution of her character could have been a bit better? Absolutely. Like you said, it definitely went really. It's like really jarring transformations from season 1 to 2 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't know how it's going to shape up to be now. I mean, we can assume, you know, it's fair to assume that she's going to be like on her sister's side. I think there was a part of her that was on her sister's side, but she also, like I said, because of last week's episode making everything sense now, it's like I'm on your side, but I kind of hated the fact that you were just, you know.
Well, she's been on her sister's side in the sense that she had a very warped view of it, you know? Like,
yeah.
Kind of like Hachiman, where it was self-destructive, but like, in a sense, like, I want to tear you down to build you up, or whatever.
Kind of, yeah.
But now it just feels like, oh yes, let us talk and work together, which is a different type of approach.
Yeah, but I'm specifically that one scene where she's like, walking and being all, oh, I'm gonna lean on to you for support. I'm kind of drunk, but I'm not drunk, and you won't get drunk either, because I'll always just be these kind of people. I'm just like, ill. Like, I'm sorry, you're like an actual adult. do you not actually have any friends to confide to? Like,
yeah, this is kind of looking sketchy.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's like 6. You're literally just like leaning on a 16-year-old boy for support.
About you're drunk, leaning on a 16-year-old boy, talking about how he'll never get drunk. Like,
it just like it just puts it a bad. Yeah, it just put a bad. Like, you're just trying to like.
I mean,
that's
like the fact that shipping him.
Like the fact that this isn't like an ecchi and like, oh, I want to have sex with you. Like the fact that there's like actual like stuff behind her being the way she was with him. That's what made it so like ugh.
I like her character because she's so ugh. But yeah. that scene is
good thing to watch. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, like no, that's a good character develop. Like, well, I wouldn't say did I say development?
It's. I wouldn't say development, but it is very good character like interaction. And,
yeah,
and it's a great scene. It's a really good scene.
It was a really good scene. It elicited a reaction out of me, even if it wasn't like a positive one.
Yeah, and I like that kind of stuff. The issue I have with this episode though is I don't know. It feels like it's headed towards season 2 territory because it's like now Yukino is gonna leave, or she's working on this prom thing by herself. So she's
okay. So yeah, I was like, we're doing this whole thing where they're splitting up to do work again.
Why? Just work together for fuck's sake. Stop making this complicated. Stop making this more complicated than that. Just work together to do the prom thing.
I mean, it's for a good reason, and hopefully the other two will be roped in. Well, I think it's almost guaranteed they'll be roped in.
Yeah, but then now Yui's all doing her drama thing.
Where she's just like, no, I'm the third wheel.
And she said the word. She's like, genuine. The moment she said, I don't want anything genuine, I was like, oh, no, please. No, not this again.
I was like, yeah.
No. Let's not do this whole fucking genuine bullshit. We're going to talk about the rental girlfriend, and I'm going to draw comparisons to this, but this is what I don't like in drama. When it gets way over the top. Because now we're going to start making this about, like, the human condition and whether you want something genuine or ingenuine or who's really your friend. Like, I just feel like that concept is too big for this show's britches.
Yeah, right now. Yes. That concept is too, like, literally, if you... You know, I won't say anymore because if I do, it's gonna go into counter territory.
Yeah, if they keep it local, like if Yui just feels something for Hachiman and she's like nervous about like Yukino feels something.
Yeah,
and if they just keep it on that
like a romantic love triangle thing, then like
yes,
fine.
that's fine. That is perfectly fine. You can do
But
drama
yeah,
for that.
don't jump off. Don't jump off the edge and be season 2 again.
Yes, I don't want to scene on the bridge where she's talking to her sister or something about what really is love and human connection and fucking hedgehogs and all this other. But don't make this into Evangelion. This doesn't need to be Evangelion, all right? It just needs to be a rom-com.
Yeah, agreed. All right. Now let's move on to ReZero to episode 2.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly how I feel about this episode. You took the words right out of my mouth.
It's like, damn, I saw this twice, and both times I was just like, all right. Like, it was a super transitional episode.
Yeah, I mean it's building up, and to be fair, the show's slow. It was slow in part 1 too, in season 1.
It was, but it's just my own problem is that it's just like, oh, but this isn't season 1, this is season 2. Can we please just,
hurry it along?
Yeah, I make the gestures that no one can see, but
yeah, I do wish it was a bit faster paced. I didn't mind it too much. We got a couple of new characters. Frederica, the shark-faced Jean art clone.
I hate her design 100%. It's really rare that I usually am like the kind of person who's like, oh, I just don't care about design, or it's like, oh, it's not my favorite, blah blah blah. I don't like her design. I like her personality, which makes me sad because it's like, oh, just
I get why it's supposed to be like this gap type of like, oh, she looks so intimidating, but she's so sweet.
Okay, but can she be sweet and you give her like a better hairstyle? Like the idea they're almost like
the hairstyle is what bothers you, not the teeth.
It's like it's a combination. It's like both together. Just really just makes it so because she already throws you off with the whole beast man. I'm a beast man with like sharp teeth, whatever. But then I think they tried to like overkill with like the theme by giving her kind of like unruly hair. Like her hair does not match the rest of her. Like it doesn't match her outfit either. It just looks so out of place. It bothers me. It bothers me.
I like
so
it
badly. I don't.
I didn't like her design at first, but it kind of grew on me.
Not with the maid outfit.
I think it's her eyebrows.
I mean, that doesn't help either. But I know what you mean. But her hair, the way her hair juts out. Like if she's doing a more casual outfit, I think that'd look really cute. But if you're gonna be like in like a maid outfit, it just looks a little.
Well, she has hair. She has like the hair tendrils going, like sharp hair edges. Like Jean has it too. It's just not as pronounced.
Yeah, but it looks good with our outfit. That's my point. Like I know it's a very small thing for me to nitpick on. Yeah. See, this is the subjective part. I'm saying I don't like.
Maybe Drew, maybe you shouldn't watch a show where you don't like the way the characters dress.
Oh yeah, no, maybe I shouldn't.
You should recuse yourself from this review.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And because I don't like how she dresses, the whole episode just sucked.
Yeah, 1 out of 10.
Clearly, yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's just how I felt about her outfit. But I like her personality. Another character I did like this episode was definitely Beatrice. It got like her interaction with Tsuharu got, pretty intense, which is not something I expect from Beatrice.
I wanted to go back and rewatch that scene, but I didn't have time. It was very
same.
I think that was the actual most important scene of the episode. Well, maybe except for the end, but it was definitely
that too.
It was definitely the biggest scene for me. Just like seeing her go through because she did go through a range of emotions from when she was jiving with him at first and poking fun at him. And then she saw the book and kind of like her mood immediately switched, and she's clearly hiding something there.
Yeah.
So that's I feel like that's really going to play in the future episodes.
And part of me, I'm just like, okay, so one of you guys belongs to like the church or the cult. One of y'all. I'm like, is Roswell belong to the cult? Is he? I'm like, yeah. After watching it the first time, I was like, is he a cult leader? He represents one of the things.
Maybe.
Is that why? And that's why he's protecting Amelia.
Maybe.
But then that wouldn't make sense because everyone else was like trying to like kill her. Well, at least that one dude. I don't know how the the church works or the cult works.
It reminds
I
me
hierarchy.
that this show does have a mystery element to it. Like, I remember now, I'm like, oh yeah, because there's definitely, I forgot about all the mystery elements of season 1 as well. So at least I'm excited to like theory craft when we get to that point.
Yes, that's the thing I liked about that episode with Beatrice, because I'm just like, oh, she's way too emotional. She or Oswald is connected to the cult somehow.
Yeah, definitely. There was also a little thing, I didn't catch too much of it, but when what's her name, Petra, the other maid, she gives Subaru the white cloth thing, and he wraps around her hand or his hand. She also has one wrapped around her hand. I don't know what that means. Like, they definitely made a point to like show it off though.
Because it's like, oh my god, we're matching. It's her.
I don't know if it'll be more significant. Like, he'll come back and she'll be dead or something. Like, she took the fatal blow for him or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but
no, I mean, I would not be surprised if he came back to the scene and then she was dead, and you just see like her handkerchief is blood soaked, and he's all like, I'm being mind broken again. The mind break.
And yeah, of course, the ending scene with the witch, or as I call her, Amelia Alter. A far superior version of Amelia, even though she was only on screen for 5 seconds.
As I sip this tea, I can't lie, I didn't find anything wrong with what Oni just said right now.
You know what it is? They don't have any chemistry. They don't. Amelia and Subaru, they don't have chemistry with each other. It just feels awkward whenever I see them interact, because they just do the most basic things together. You know what I mean?
Like their I feel like their quote unquote romance is hard carried by like just like the awesome writing.
Yeah.
Like they have fun jokes, but those jokes can also be made as friends.
Yeah, their best moments together are just moments where they're friendly with each other. And then it's just like, I don't know, I just don't see, and maybe because she's so, I feel bad just saying she's so vanilla, but
yeah, it's like she kind of does like the thing where she gets embarrassed. It's like she has like this kind of cute tsundere, but it's not really tsundere, so therefore it's not really like like that's how I just feel about Tofu in general. And
it's because they don't have any. Every other character has like one extreme defining character trait. You know, like Ram is a bitch.
Like, yeah, Ram's a bitch, and I love it. That's what makes me love her.
Yeah, this new main character has shark teeth. Like, there's literally every single character show, no matter how minor or major they are, has like a very big thing that stands out about them above all else. And Amelia does not have anything that stands out. She just feels like she walked off of like a random harem anime, like, and just set foot in this universe and has nothing to show for it in terms of her character. I don't know. I just feel like she'd be better used anywhere else.
Yeah. Man, it would be so funny. Like, I wish someone would just make like a funny crossover, anime short about just Tofu-chan being in the cast of Nejima, just to highlight how like forgettable she is.
Yeah, no, god damn, maybe she'd be so far down the list of character polls.
My god, she'd be last every time.
But yeah, no, I mean, other than that, it was just a setup episode. I think it's gonna start picking up now that we met the witch and this whole thing happened at the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was ReZero. Let us move on to something that is my episode of the week. Fire Force season 2 episode 3.
Wow. Interesting
indeed. I mean, this episode was amazing. It was really, really good.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
Moments. We have a new best girl that showed up.
You mean I forgot her name actually.
Inka.
Inca.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Inca.
Inca. She went.
I heard them say that name, but I'm just like, now I'm hearing it again. I'm like, Inca, like as in like the civilization.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
she has a really interesting. So, to go from Amelia to her is just like whiplash right now.
Oh
but...
yeah, like oh my neck's broken.
She had a insane personality, but I really loved it because she's so. I don't know how to feel about her. You know, she's just all over the place. She's just so confused and evil at the same time. But she doesn't.
She's crazy.
She's crazy, but she's a cool kind of crazy. I love these types of like. She's like, this is why I love characters like Toga and all these other crazy characters. They're the most fun and interesting characters because they're like super unpredictable. And she was crazy this episode. She was literally holding up people for ransom to help them out of the fires. And also, she has a really interesting ability. Her ability is awesome. Very stylish.
It is incredibly. It's very like. I think like. Does she have the ability, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think she may or may not have the ability to, like, redirect fires.
I don't know if it's redirect or if she can just, like, create fires by just tracing lines or something.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense.
Listen,
I mean,
the ability.
Yeah, I know how, no, some of the abilities will make sense and some of them will just be like, whatever, I get that. But hers, I mean, they went out of their way to, like, show it. I feel like explanation's definitely in order. You can't just say, oh, she just links it and boom. So
we'll get it, I'm sure. She looks like she's gonna be the major character of this arc.
Yeah.
Also, did they just switch to like a horror gore anime? The one guy who got killed.
Yeah, that was pretty savage. I'm a fan of this new villain. Yeah, I like him.
Has anyone died in Fire Force like that way before? Or is this the first way that it literally gets torn in half on screen?
No, I think that's their most graphic death today. But they've had some pretty graphic moments. Don't get me wrong. Like this is not the first time blood has been shed.
Really, I don't remember.
This is the first time it's been like shed like that. You know, like now there's just like blood everywhere. Like yeah, something like that. It's never been done, which I appreciate. And what do you mean? Hello, the first or second episode. That guy who's part of the Sun people, whatever, he literally got a hole in his chest.
I don't remember. The first episode was first season?
Yeah, for the first season. I think it was like the second, third episode. The guy who betrayed everyone with the stars in his eyes, who was like kind of hot. Yeah.
It wasn't that graphic.
I mean, yeah, he was encased in ice, but like the point is,
it was conceptually graphic. Like, oh wow, yeah, you get a whole. This was just the dude got ripped apart. You saw the blood and everything everywhere.
Yeah.
So it was more graphic in like a visual sense. But yeah, there was also a lot of horror elements. They keep doing the second voice that people keep hearing that just pops out behind them and shit. That's getting really creepy.
Yeah, which I don't really mind. Like, it adds. Yeah, exactly. I feel like this is slowly what's separating Fire Force from just like any old regular.
Yeah, it's becoming more of a into its Soul Eater roots, and even seeing like that one scene where Inca's like smelling the fire, and then it was like there's fire everywhere, and she sees all the lines going everywhere, and then she's just like super happy, and she's like, "There's a fire over there! There's a fire over there!" Like,
yeah, and then she starts like pretending like she's a conductor. And... Yeah,
she's creepy as hell. I like her. I really like her.
Yeah, me too. She belongs into this cast of characters. I definitely like her.
My other major thing about this episode is I just the combat, the fighting. Actually, I think they stepped it up this season. Like it just feels so good to watch, and like
once again when that guy started saying stuff and they started walking, explosions just started happening behind them.
And he just like when Shinra was kicking him and fighting him briefly, like I just felt the impact of all those kicks and punches. It just feels good. Like it feels satisfying to watch them fight, and that's a lot to do with like how the sound design works. So yeah, I'm really liking this this new season. It's setting up really good.
Yeah,
as opposed to the first season.
Yeah, I do agree. Like real quick, I do agree about like the sound. This thing that Fire Force does well is like the sounds. Everything. Their audio is like on point. It's something I feel like I've taken for granted until you just said it, and I'm just like, no, they're really good. Very good.
The sound and the visuals are definitely the strong point of Fire Force. So good job on you, Fire Force, for pulling it off so far.
All right. I think so. Let's move on to the God of High School, the High of God School,
yes,
episode 2.
School.
So was this episode where the main character like throws the sword into the lake?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually like that beginning scene because it shows like, reasons why these like main characters like come together and bond. Like this is like a bonding moment.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I don't know where that third dude got like the lights from, but
he said he got them from his store. But his store just sells floodlights or something.
I'm like, floodlights are super expensive.
Does he work at a convenience store? He like works at like a 7-Eleven. He's just like, yeah, we have these.
So you ran all the way and then ran back. Like, okay, cool.
It helps.
So I like that bonding moment where also Amira, she explains, why she's fighting. She's fighting for a dojo, save her dojo and whatnot. Just like good back. I'm sorry, don't say that thought. It's some good
background story.
Background story, good character building, etc., etc. So that was very nice. Then we get to the martial arts. So I will say the martial arts dude fighting the criminal. I really liked that fight. I don't know. The fighting's good in general.
I would say definitely the same. Like the same as with Fire Force. It's very visceral. Like I feel the punches, and when he was beating up on the martial arts guy, and he was like punching, like kicking him in the face, and like slamming him on the floor and shit, and they were like, "Oh man, he's fighting." Like I felt that. That was rough. Tries he's still alive. I'm like, oh, this could be that type of show where the guys just get like fucked up and stabbed and beaten and his eyes gouged out, but he's fine.
Exactly.
Let him rest. He'll be fine.
Homeboy later started breaking his arms. He's like, I'm just gonna break all your limbs. Okay. Yeah,
like Mortal Kombat or something.
Hey, hello.
Fatality. He'll be back next. He'll be back tomorrow.
But then the main. Oh yeah, Jin interferes. Finally with his own super godlike kicking of death.
Yeah, the Jin portion was really good. But yeah, no, I think the fights overall are just really well choreographed and they're impactful and you feel it, just like with Fire Force. Yeah. I'm not sold on Jin as a character yet. Like he just seems kind of like, who he is. Actually, I just made the connection. Who he is? He is what's his name from Shokugeki?
Soma?
Yeah, he's Soma who can fight. That's all he is. He's just like a snobby, really talented kid who's like just beating the shit out of everybody. Like him and Soma have the exact same personality.
Oh my god.
They literally have the exact same personality. So I'm not entirely sold on him yet. I like the other characters. I like this evil. I like that they did a little bit of character development with the kicking guy, where he just wants he wanted the martial artist to like admit he was beaten and grovel for his life, and the martial artist like, no, it's not my way. But then he gets like the flashbacks where he was groveling for his life, so it's like clearly he has like this thing on his shoulders, trauma that he's dealing with, and he's like trying to take it out on this martial artist. Like, no, he's
definitely projecting.
Just like me. Yeah, he's definitely projecting onto this guy.
But this guy's like, I won't give up because you're an awful person.
So props to nearly dead martial arts guy. Which by the way, I'm not gonna remember anyone's names because.
Oh yeah, I think his name is Go. I wrote Go. Yeah, I think his name is Go. Go. I
Jin,
don't
I
know.
remember.
Criminal.
Mira,
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's Mira.
I don't. Who?
The girl.
Oh, Mira. Yeah.
Yeah, Mira, I remember. But yeah, no, if you thought I struggled with Japanese names, whew, Korean names, not happening.
I mean, Jin. Jin is like
and Mira are the only
that's
ones I
50-50. Jin is 50-50. Like that could be used in either language.
Mm.
Mira is definitely Korean 100%. So yeah, no, some of the names, yeah, Oni's going.
Yeah,
We're
there's
both
some
gonna
names that are
struggle.
very much more Korean, much more directly Korean. That I was like, ooh, yeah, no. Like, isn't the main enemies like what? Something Park, Jim Park, or Jim Yu or something? I don't know. Whatever.
I don't
Korean
remember that. No, it's just there's an onslaught of names that I just can't remember from this series.
Mm-hmm. It's just me being American. Why can't these characters be named Will and Jesse? I don't know. Too complicated.
Too complicated. But oh yeah, and then at the end where like it stops becoming kung fu and just quickly just becomes
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, or Hunter x Hunter or something like.
Yeah, I mean I'm here for it because it's still like the fighting is still good.
We knew it was gonna get to that point anyway.
I know, but I just wish it still kept its like more realistic fighting style. You know, like it was really cool seeing the martial artists actually use martial arts. I don't know how I feel about just seeing Jin fucking turn into, I would say Street Fighter, but it's getting a bit more ridiculous than Street Fighter.
I mean, Jin was still just kicking people, right?
He was like, this dude, didn't the other dude like fucking...
Yeah, the other guy, he started turning into, what was that guy from Street Fighter? Wasn't it Asuka? Akuma, thank you. Yeah, he just started turning into Akuma. He was like, the darkness.
Yeah, like I don't want that. I don't want like, yes, my aura is fucking pushing everything. Like no one needs to go super. I don't want to see electricity shooting through anybody or anything like that. Like I wanted to keep it grounded in the martial arts. You know, like yeah, you can go a bit over the top sometimes, but as long as the series doesn't turn into Dragon Ball Z, you know, where I see Jin kicking energy waves at people or something. Oh god, watch that happen.
Be brought into existence, and so it shall be. Anyways, let's move on to Kanojo Okari Shimasu, episode 2, which is actually my episode of the week.
Yeah, this was gonna be my episode of the week, but I gave it to Fire Force. Yeah, this was great. Fuck mommy.
So remember how, and this is why I had to stop myself. Remember how we said like, oh, this whole heavy existential blah 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 bullshit things happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little too much for teenagers. Yes, I agree for that. However, moving on to college students is definitely more like believable and is just better execution, and we see so in this episode.
Yeah, this episode was good. If I couldn't love Chizuru anymore than I already do, somehow she found a way to
she just became the bestest girl. At first I wasn't like I'm like, oh, she's being kind of a bitch like in the first few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But then as the episode got on, I just kind of just ended up hating everyone that's not her. Literally everyone that's not her.
Everyone
and the grandma
is trash. Her and the grandma. Everyone else is trash.
Everyone is trash. Mommy's trash. My character's trash. The friends are trash. Everyone trash. Like, oh my god! And when I tell you by the end of this, Mommy, I was like, wow, you're giving me big vibes of that teacher slut from Kuzuno Honkai.
Yeah. I would say Mommy's a little less less transparent, yeah. Because like she's clearly being a bitch.
Oh.
Like she's just doing it with a smile, but I'm like, damn, she's clearly just being a bitch.
Oh, you mean Mommy's being more transparent?
Oh yeah, more transparent. Yeah.
Yeah, that has I got confused. I was
more
like,
transparent.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's just being a bitch.
Yeah, like very, very clearly, and it's like I love the progression of like the MC being more and more and more gross. Like it started him out just being like, "Oh, I'm kind of sorry," and then Grandma's like, first of all, oh god, I'm literally his grandma, by the way. I'm just like, I want my grandson to have a girlfriend while I spend money on gacha games. Like I'm like, duh, that's
the living the life.
MC is just like, instead of doing the right thing and just like ending it, he's just so like he's begging like this woman to be like, keep up this charade just so I can have that feeling of everyone respecting me because I have a girlfriend. And it's just like,
yeah, when he lost respect when he was like, when they were like, you want to go drinking with us? And she clearly was like nodding no, which is hilarious. And then he was just like, yeah, let's go drinking.
Yeah, so I can just like show off my. I was just like, ew. Like, I was already like not a huge fan when he was doing it for like the grandma, because I'm just like, because she's right. Like Mizada, even though I thought she was being bitchy, she was also correct. She was just like, just make it clear that we're not together. Like we broke up. Like even the grandma was just like, damn, that's like she was accepting it.
I mean, to be fair, she was being like really tough on him. Like, listen, you're worthless. You never brought home a girl, and
not worthless. She just said, hey, you've never been a ladies' man, and you always brought dudes home, and blah 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 blah.
I did feel bad for him at that point.
Like, you know, that's how old people are. I'm not saying it's good. It's a good thing, but it's just like. So what? like essentially, I'm just like, so what? Like you'll live. It's not like she was like, there was no like danger of like him losing anything. It's not like, oh, I'm cutting you off because you broke up with her. Like it was something that was like threatening his like lifestyle of like him living was in danger. Then yeah, I get it. Like. I don't want homeboy to starve. That means he has to lie, just to live. Then go for it. I'd accept that. But he was just, I don't know. He was just being kind of weak, which I liked. Yeah, exactly. Like, and they just kept going with it. Like, it started with that, and they just put in the seeds, and it just kept on going. And then like he went on the date with his grandma. Also, there's one point where he was under his pet sheets, and it's just like thinking about Mami. I was like, are you crying or are you?
No, he was jerking off. You see him throw away a towel or whatever.
But he like kind of had like he was like sniffling.
Well, he was crying while jerking. Like he's a miserable character.
Oh my god. Oh.
Which, by the way, there's a lot of like subtle things in this episode. Now we can get to Mami. There's a lot of subtle things in this episode that show that Mami's a very controlling and like abusive person in general.
Oh. Absolutely. First of all, no, we'll get to her when we get to her. I want to have like a whole cohesive discussion about her. I want to keep going about what's his face. Kazuya. Yeah, Kazuya. So yeah, then we get to that part where he's like lies to the friends and he's like, yeah, I'll just go drink and blah 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 blah. I'm still surprised she didn't just say fuck you and left.
Yeah, she should have. To be honest.
Yeah, better than me.
Although them yelling at each other in the elevator was hilarious.
Yeah, that was very funny. And then what sealed the deal was just, damn, this girl who has no reason to give a fuck about you went out of her way to like defend him, and I think she really was defending him.
She was. She's a good person.
Exactly.
She's actually a good person. Like I don't think she's romantically interested in him yet, but
yeah,
she clearly just wants to be a kind person and like, listen, don't shit on people. You
exactly. Like yeah, exactly. Like she clearly was trying to defend him because Mami was like being out of pocket, and then he was just like, instead of saying, getting Mami to stop, he just like enables her, and I'm just like,
but they really do be people like that, though.
I'm just like, I know. I'm just like, oh, like you are. I'm trying to say this without sounding like I'm judging him too hard, because
no, I will.
It's just like you have some really toxic dependency issues with her. So Like their whole dynamic, even though they're broken up, is toxic. Like holy hell! And this is when we start talking about Mami. So the thing that what scares me about Mami, as you said, she's so controlling that she doesn't necessarily like. She just wants Kazuya to be hers. Not specifically in a relationship. It's not even in a relationship. She wants to have that feeling of knowing that she can just get him together whenever she wants to.
Pretty much.
Like when me and Oni talk about like how women are, like I feel like this is what Oni is like.
This is the exact type of woman that I say exists. That they do exist. Listen, I will say for every mommy there is a Chizuru, but I'm just saying there are mommies out there. So be careful. If you run into women who are clearly controlling and manipulative like Mami is, you should not engage with her. And you should cut her off from your life, because if you keep her around, she's going to do like she did this episode and just fuck you over.
Oh my god. And it's so, like, it's crazy how she's, like, actually, like, territorial. Like, so much to the point where, like, I think she thinks that she likes this guy. Because, like, as you saw in, like, earlier in the episode, like, when they talked about how she, like, just dubbed him, like, you know, she just, like, ugh. Like, she had to say it twice. She said, oh, is that so? Like, I'm like, oh, yeah, I know that tone. I know that tone because I use that tone.
I think what happens is, and by the way, yeah, there's like a lot of moments with Mami that she's like really subtly being manipulative and controlling. Like when she bumps into him in the beginning, I think that was on purpose. She like has a very exaggerated jump into him while he's not paying attention animation. So, and it looks like it was clearly done intentionally. Like, oh look, I just ran into you. Am I on your mind right now? Like she just wants to orbit him to like keep him on her, like, you know, keep him around her finger. I think she blocked him on Twitter for that same exact reason, so he's constantly obsessed with her and what she's doing.
Exactly.
There's parts where you notice when she says all that crazy shit to Chizuru, and then instead of apologizing for saying that shit to Kazuya, she's like, Kazuya, why don't you apologize for me to her?
Yeah, that blew my mind. I was like, bitch, you want to talk about entanglement? Hello? Like, this girl had what? Jada has nothing on Mami.
She also takes her drink, or takes his drink and orders for him so that he doesn't get up and leave, supposedly. But
exactly, because he knows she's not leaving. He's like, oh yeah, he'll have a draft.
Yeah,
because he knows that she's not leaving. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna lie. When I saw it happen, I was stunned. Like, I literally had to sit with that for a minute. I was like, what?
Yeah, and she clearly keeps putting on this like little innocent girl face and like, oh, I'm so silly, I'm sorry. And you see her real face when she's talking to her friend, and she's like, keep talking shit. And she like looks over at the. So yeah, she's like putting on this fake cutesy face and everything all the time.
Yeah, so it's just like, damn, like you don't even want him to be happy. You just want him to be there.
Yeah,
because you like that power of him just knowing that he's going to be there.
And I will say that the show's really good when you because the character wise, because I can relate to I keep calling him Jin. I can relate. He's definitely not Jin. I can relate to Kazuya on some levels. Like for example, I know I have to. If I have a girlfriend and it doesn't work out, and she dumps me or I dump her, we have to. I cannot do like you. I cannot be friends with an ex. Exactly for the same reason as Kazuya, because I would become obsessed with why it didn't work out and can we get back together and whatnot. I have to cut ties. It doesn't matter how graceful the ending was. Just in my personality, I have to cut ties. So I see when Kazuya is like I can kind of relate to some elements of his personality, But then when he goes to like full simp mode and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, it's just how I am. It's all right that Chizuru makes or that mommy makes fun of me." That I don't do. I'm too prideful to have someone shit talk me. I would have gotten up out of my seat like, "Yeah, you tell her, Chizuru. Let's talk shit 2 against 1 now." So I don't know.
Yeah,
He's a bit too much of a pathetic person for me, but
yeah, no, it was like, oh, he's gross. Like this is like, is this what Kuzu no Honkai would be like if it was funny?
yeah.
Like if they made a attempt at humor, it would just be this.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was just great, and it's funny that you say that because I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like certain people, like I'm not saying like, oh yeah, everyone could be like me and like keep in contact with their exes. I'm not saying I'm different. I'm different because for the most part, depending on most people, when I break, I'm gone. Like there's only one instance where I got back with someone, and that was because we dated when we were in high school, and then we dated when we were full-ass adults, which is like. You know, we're two completely different people at those points. So I don't even. So it's like in a way, I almost don't even count that because we're like almost new people, quote unquote. But yeah, everyone else, it's like I can be friends with you, but it's just like, you know, I know why we broke. Like, there's a reason we broke up, and as much as I care for you as a friend, I knew why we broke up, and I don't know. I'm very good at compartmentalizing my feelings. Like probably scarily so. I mean, I like it because it makes me very emotionally sound. Like, it makes me better at navigating relationships in general. But yeah, someone on the opposite, like Kazuya, it's like, oof. Like, ugh. And it wasn't, like, it wasn't for like a month, too. So it's like, yikes. I don't know. I feel like Mami just realized how much. I think Mami just realized at some point, how much, like, he was, like, so into her. And at first, she found that kind of, like, a turnoff. But then she broke up with him, and she's like, actually, I kind of like the attention. Like, I kind of like that feeling of you just being all over me. Or just knowing that you want to be all over me.
Yeah.
And then, and then she kind of just warped into a complete fucking monster. And that's what happened here, and it was just so well done. Like it was well executed. This anime is actually surprisingly good.
They have a really good character development considering this is just like a comedy, like a romantic comedy. So yeah, excellent execution, very good job.
Yes.
Shall we move on to the controversial anime for apparently every reviewer in the world except us?
Please, let's indeed.
All right. Up next, we have Uzaki-chan, episode 2.
Ugh, so terrible.
0 out of 10. Did you see her big boobs?
Oh my god!
I didn't know I was getting into that when I watched.
I thought that was bad, but then that scene with like her panties showing like in public.
Damn. This does not match my pure Christian values at all.
Jesus. Oh my god. Guys, we're sorry for even bringing it up.
We're dropping it immediately.
Yep. Last episode for Uzaki-chan for us. Okay, now that we got that out of the way.
Yes.
So I actually liked this episode. I actually really liked this episode. Like,
me too. It was fun. It was
very fun. Like just the cafe part with the old man, like the owner, he's so great. Like he gives just enough. Yeah, he gives just enough.
Him just being, I feel like he was like a stand-in for the audience at certain points where he was just like,
exactly,
this is just fun to watch.
Yeah, he's like, this is fun
breaking
to watch.
The fourth wall.
That part where he makes that like very pretty face and just insults the shadow.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is very much me. Like, I just tend to smile a lot, so it's very common if I just say, you know, that's why your mom's kind of a whore. Like, so I just found that very funny. I I love how everyone laughed at his serious attempt. Like his attempt to like just greet everyone, and she just laughs in his face, and then she just kicks him out.
She just throws him out.
He kicks her out. even the owner's like owner was laughing at her reaction.
Yeah, it was really entertaining. Actually, I really like the dynamic that they have. Like they have a kind of really silly couple type of thing going on. Like when they were in the cafeteria and they were just texting each other back and forth, and she's like doing sign language and shit. I found that to be really adorable and funny at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I will say for me that was like the lowest point of the anime.
It was the lower part for sure, but it was just cute nonetheless. Thankfully, it was also the shortest part.
Yeah, agreed. The morning part, which I think this may be my favorite part for a few reasons.
Yeah, same.
One, because I feel like for a split second, I definitely like was superimposing myself and Oni onto like Uzaki and Sakurai respectively.
What?
Like for like the first 2 seconds, like, haha, how am I gonna fuck with Oni today? And then Oni's just like, wow, a cat. I was like, in that moment, I felt like we were very seen.
That is true. And then you would also be like, ugh, gross. Fucking cat.
Yeah, gross. Exactly my reaction. Just like, oh, Oni, look at Oni being like simping for a fucking cat. Gross. Disgusting. So yeah, that was I really liked that. But then the immersion stops and Uzaki's like, I'm actually a cat expert.
Yeah, then that's when she lost you. When she lost you.
Yeah, exactly. And then I did like Sakura's like love for animals. Like, I don't know. It's just like a fun thing about him to learn.
I like there's little bits of things you learn about the characters here and there. There's some for Uzaki at the end of this episode too. But yeah, and overall just that scene was really cute until it got to the actual comedic bit of her being stuck in a bush, which was my highlight of the episode.
Oh, I bet. I mean, it was also incredibly hilarious.
Are you gonna pull it out now, Senpai?
Oh God, you're so aggressive. God, you're just asking for so much. You're so needy.
Yeah, those little stupid juvenile, just like dumb lewd moments are great. I love lewd comedy.
Yep. Yeah, same.
So therefore, it falls in my purview of shows I like to watch.
Yep, it's one of the reasons why we watch and review it, because we actually like the genre. Isn't that crazy?
Crazy. Also, the last part of the episode where they're just in the cafe together. I thought that was a little cute. Just her being super innocent and like, can I come over and sleep over at your place and play games all night?
Yeah, and I love how I almost feel like they did they subverted like the ecchi genre in a sense, because usually the main character would be like super clueless and dumb and stupid.
Yeah, you're right.
And but this time it was Uzaki-chan being dumb and like oblivious, and he got super embarrassed and had like a super tsundere response. Like, I love that, how they subverted the genre just a bit.
I like Uzaki's like, first of all, I love that she never caught on either. I thought she was gonna catch on, like, you baka. No, she just never caught on. And
and he was just the one who just got really embarrassed and started saying, like, literally starts on like a tsundere girl, like, bakas, like,
and I like that about Uzaki in general, that she doesn't get the tsundere moments or anything. Like, even when he comes out and he literally slaps her ass with the fucking book.
that was so
put that ass away. She's fucking random. And even then, she's like, oh, he slapped my ass. We'll talk about that later. She just puts it aside. So,
I really love their dynamic.
They're very adorable together, and there's some good comedic moments here and there. So yeah, I think we're getting what we're looking for from this show, which is just little bits of comedy here and there and cute moments.
I don't know. I feel like I find myself a little bit like attracted to Sakurai.
He looks kind of generic to me.
Huh?
He looks kind of generic to me.
I know, it's definitely his personality.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
He was like just very, like, that whole thing where he's like insulting her to her face. Like, he's like he's very cheeky.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, right, he got out tsundere, and like I don't know, I found that like for a man, I found that very cute.
Yeah, and I like that he isn't one-dimensional. Like, he does actually help her and play around with her at some points in the show.
Mm-hmm.
He just gets easily flustered, but he just feels more real because of that.
Exactly, like he seems like a full-out, fleshed-out character. I like him.
Mm-hmm.
Like by episode 2, like it's like there's so much I know about him.
Exactly. So I'm looking forward to seeing how their antics grow from here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with that said, shall we move on to our final episode of the week in Fruits Basket Season 2, Episode 15.
I actually like this episode too. I really like this episode.
I like this episode for literally the teacher being awesome, and then like the last 5 minutes were amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. This episode actually made me like, dare I say, like Yuki.
No, not going too far. I love it. I mean, I love it, Yame. I'll give you that one.
No, I didn't say love Yuki. I said I like Yuki. It makes me like Yuki because it's like he's growing into his own. Like
he's getting better. Like he's growing into his own. Like he confronted his mom at the end and everything. Although I wish he was a bit more aggressive. Maybe it's my spiteful side just being fuck all these parents, but
no, I don't know. I think it would have been a little too simple to just be like, "Fuck you, mom. I'll do whatever I want." Like,
I know, but it would have been like satisfying to me.
I think it would have been satisfying.
It would have been immediately satisfying.
But yeah, it's like a cheap orgasm. Like,
I love that he grabbed it when he grabbed her shoulder. I thought that was really touching because like he grabs her shoulder and he's like, "Why does she feel so small?" And then like kind of does that flashback scene where he's a kid and she's like looming over him so tall, but now that he's older, he's seeing her for like the frail person that she is. I thought that was really well done. Like she's not this larger than life person who has control over his life. She's just kind of like this frail person that he can just grab onto.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I love him finding his independence.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, what made me like him, not besides that, was when he defended his brother. That sold me for it. Because I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, they've had some of the best character development of any characters this series, I think. Like between the two of them, Yuki and Ayame.
Oh yeah. Like the way that they grow, they didn't just like grow; they grew like together.
Exactly.
And there's like so much warding, and like it got to a point where Yuki was like, "Wait, mom, I'm not gonna let you talk about my brother that way.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how you feel."
I love his point about him getting a second chance too. Like Yuki gave me a second chance, and I'm not gonna fuck it up like you're doing. I thought that was a really good point. Seeing like I love how Ayame can do like be serious and dramatic, but still be hilarious. Yeah,
I love him. He's such an amazing character.
He is. He's really an amazing character. I remember when he first came out, I was like lukewarm about him, but now I'm just like, oh my god, he's one of my top 5.
I think he might be number 3. Mm-hmm. Like they're Kyo, Haru, Ayame.
Yeah. I'd probably my thing is a bit more crazy, but yeah, he'd definitely be in my top 5.
Mm-hmm.
I also liked Shigure this episode, like just for the comedic purposes of him running into the teacher.
Mayu?
Yeah, Mayu.
Oh my god, them just throwing shade back and forth was just so great.
They kicked Toru out of the room.
They're like, Torini leave. And she's like, what about the diamond dust? And he's like, oh, that's so cute. I don't know what the fuck you're saying. Goodbye.
Get out of here. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It was truly hilarious. Yeah, but man, he is I love how like a huge theme of the first half literally was all the girls telling Toru, watch out for Shigure. He's not a good person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. Like,
and
I'm waiting for Shigure to do some crazy shit. Like, I know it's all building up to something, but he's gonna do some crazy shit.
I mean, he's kind of already done some crazy shit. It's just like he's not.
I mean,
like, he put the pieces in motion.
He is, but like I know he's gonna do something even crazier than just
like I would say he's already like done the crazy shit by basically like manipulating Akito to come to the summer resort.
Yeah, but I feel like that's just a precursor. Him. I feel like next thing he's gonna do is like manipulate Akito into like being alone with Toru or something in a room with weapons.
with weapons.
with weapons.
Yeah, I'm just like, nah. He's just kind of like an emotional terrorist. Like the fact that he terrorist. Like I'm not gonna lie. Even I was with him. I'm used to him being like, shady and whatever. But the fact that he wore Hattori's suit, I think that was like, oh, you crossed the line. You actually may have crossed the line with that one. I think I would have had to end up beating your ass for that.
Yeah, like how dare you?
I don't think I would have been able to like act like it. I've been like, wait, are you wearing Toru? I need you to step outside for like 10 minutes.
Say your goodbyes to your family member and then step out, or to your Shigure and step outside.
Yeah,
I did like how Shigure mentioned that if she marries into the family, they'd be related to each other, and she's like, "Oh fuck, I didn't think about that."
Yeah, and then wait, who would be in
Mayu would be related like.
Oh yeah, they'd be related to right. If Mayu married into family, yeah. He's like, yeah, thank God we didn't have sex.
Yeah, thank God we didn't do anything. Otherwise, that would have been awkward. As opposed to all the other awkward moments I share with my family.
Yeah, as opposed to everything else. As opposed to all the other incest that happens. But yeah, this is really good. This is really good. I'm so like I'm loving Fruits Baskets. Like I don't know why every time I'm thinking about, oh shit, I have to watch Fruits Baskets, but I know it's going to be good. I don't know why I had this expectation that's not going to be good, and then
I'm like that too, but it's more so because I need to be in the mood for it. Like it's good, but I have to be in the mood. It's not like God of High School where I just throw it on whenever, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this. So, but yeah, when you're in the mood for it, it's really, really good.
Agreed. All right.
And I think. Oh wait, no, we have another segment we can go into right now.
Yes. Oh my God, if you were about to.
I forgot.
I would have beaten your ass, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for our last segment, the filler arc. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of like fumbling around for a topic because I literally forgot to come up with something for today's podcast. But then inspiration hit me literally as I think it was like during Fire Force or Fruits Baskets, and I was like, oh, this makes sense. And my question to you guys as well, you guys feel free to answer this in chat, give me your opinions. How long should an anime take to be considered good?
All right, so are we talking about like define good? You mean like good as in I'm going to continue watching it, or good as in I can give it a score now? And it's like an 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10.
Yeah, good as in like what point does it like bring you in? Like where's that? Oh, I'm here for this now.
I would say the 3-episode rule. 3 episodes. If you're not selling it by the 3rd episode, then it's probably not for you. And there's definitely a lot of anime that have like their hook on the 3rd episode, like Madoka and Nanoha.
Yeah, and see, that's the interesting thing, because there are certain series that are like deemed like great, amazing. Oh my God, you're spectacular! You're wonderful. We love you. And some of their first seasons, let alone first episodes, aren't exactly great. Case in point, at least for me, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. To this day, I still remember me watching it. I I would literally have to not be sober just to get through episodes because it was just so ridiculous. Like, it was so over the top, but not in a funny way. Like, it was funny because it was over the top, but not because it was funny itself. And that, I feel like a lot of people felt the same way. Like, a lot of people don't really care for the first season at all because no one really likes the first Joestar. Like, he's just, you know, a upstanding dude, and that's his personality. And then you get to the second one, and then I feel like it just takes off from there.
And that's funny because I've only seen like half of the first season, and I'm just like, it's alright. Like, I don't see. Yeah. I feel like it gets hated on a lot. Like, oh man, you're not gonna love it. You're gonna hate the first season. I'm just like, I mean, it's above average. Like, I mean, the rest of the season is just like 10 out of 10, and then this first season is like a 7 or 8 out of 10. Yeah, I feel like people rag on the first season of JoJo more than it deserves. You know,
I would say
I've seen worse shonen by far.
That is true, but honestly, if we weren't all watching it together when we were watching it together, I would have never watched it. I would have never, like, to me, and honestly, in some ways, it kind of it fails the 3-episode rule just a little bit. I don't know, because at some point it just gets so poor because it's like, it takes a while for things to happen. Like, yeah, the whole thing with Dio is cool and all, but it's just like, even that, it's like, even after that, it's just like, and then Speedwagon's like, oh my god, and he did blah 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 blah, explain. It's just like, it's memey. It's a meme, but the meme, in my opinion, doesn't make it good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Another case in point would be Black Clover. Once you get over, like, yeah, so much of Black Clover seems so, like, basic. It seems like such a basic show. Someone literally said, like, get up to episode 20 and, like, just watch it go. And that I was skeptical, but I think at that point I was like, I'm kind of bored. I literally saw it like this. I just need a whatever shonen to just watch, to just get through the day. So I just picked it and just went with it. And it's like, yeah, he was right. Once episode 20 was over, the series just like took off, and I'm just like, whoa.
I feel like at that point it's just Stockholm syndrome. You just watched it for 20 episodes, and you're just like,
I watched it. But if there was, like, for example, like, if there was, like, Fairy Tail per se, because I like Fairy Tail, and I liked it from episode 1, period. I would just watch that. I would have just watched that because I just like Fairy Tail, and it didn't take 20 episodes to pique my interest. It got me from, like, the first few. Like, you know, can we say maybe it got, like, at some points? Yeah, but definitely not at, like, the beginning. I definitely would say not at the beginning. It was pretty solid, in my opinion, at least.
I agree, and I think one of the things that holds me back from watching a lot of the shows, like, if somebody told me that, like, just get to episode 20, I'd be like, oh, nope, not watching that show. I can't dedicate.
Exactly, and that's fair. And that's so fair. I only did that because I was bored.
Like, for as great as JoJo is, even I'm like, I'm not gonna watch JoJo because it's so many fucking episodes. I'm not here. I don't want to watch a show. I can't. My rule is if it's longer than 26 episodes, I ain't watching it. It's too far gone for me. I can't catch up. Which we like stuff like One Piece. Maybe I'll watch JoJo one day, but it's so many episodes.
Yeah. Another example I would want to bring. I wouldn't say this is an example. I think this is an example of what's not. So I've been watching Hunter x Hunter. I don't think Hunter x Hunter was bad per se. It was just very different. Just a very different compared to a lot of shonen that I'm used to watching. I've never seen an anime where power levels truly don't mean anything. Like, it wasn't so, like, for example, like, very Naruto-ish, where all the fights are neatly packed up so that people with appropriate power levels are fighting each other. That doesn't really exist in Hunter x Hunter, per se.
I mean, they're not shonens, but I would say that power levels don't matter much in Fate Zero and in, what was that show we loved? the Magic Girl show, Magic Girl Raising Project.
Oh,
Power
yeah.
levels definitely didn't matter there.
Yikes. My point, me mentioning that is like, it was just a very interesting show. I wouldn't say I was like, oh, this is great, but it was enough to keep my interest.
Mhm.
Like, definitely something I would watch with friends, 100%. So I'm just, I'm watching, but it's just, my thing is that season 3 was just so like like, when I tell you this season's so good, and you know what, I feel like you guys might want to fight me for this, and let's go.
Mhm.
I'll say it was just as good as Soul Society arc.
Well,
It
I
was
can't
just
critique
that
it, I've never
good.
seen it, but
It
if
wa-
you disagree with Drew, let us know in comments.
Yeah, like, it was just so like, what? There's so much about that show that has nothing to do with power levels, and it's just almost so much about like how people think and how people move and how people. And then season 3 was just like the penultimate, like, it almost felt like the climax of how Hunter x Hunter is as a show overall, and it was just so satisfying. I know it feels like I just bring up anything will just make me talk about how much I love that season, because I really do, because it's just fresh in my mind. But like I said, it kind of skews how I feel about season 1, because I'm like, okay, season 1 did not make me feel like that. Holy hell! But I will say, I don't think it was as like obnoxious as it was watching, 20 episodes of Asta from Black Clover being like, ah!
I can't get into Black Clover for sure because that it feels too Naruto-y for me. But
oh yeah, no, I understand that. It's like, I feel like it's basically what Naruto would be without the fillers, and essentially, since that was a lot of my problems with Naruto was the fillers, I'm like, all right, I'm fine. Like, I accept it. But yeah, no, it's just interesting. Do I think it's a 3-episode rule? I don't. I think there needs to be something that pulls you in.
Yeah, I would definitely say it can't be a. I mean, unless it's like you and you have a lot of you just bored. I wouldn't do a 20-episode rule.
Yeah, like I think it's fair. I think it's a fair thing to say that like within the first few, like, I would say like 3 to 5 episodes, if I'm not feeling a show, no matter how amazing, like, I feel like at that point, can you even say the show is amazing just because it couldn't even suck you in the first 20 episodes?
Yeah,
like is that a fair question for me to ask? Like, if you can say a show is like amazing, and like, doesn't that also include its beginning as well? And if the beginning isn't as good,
you know what's another great example of this too? I just thought of Higurashi. Like, Higurashi's first 2 episodes compared to like its 3rd and 4th episode are night and day.
Yeah, but that's like, that falls in within the scope. Like,
yeah, that's what I mean. That, like, is another good example. That's why I think 3. I'd go as far as 5 episodes, but
yeah,
I think 3 episodes is like the golden rule for me, at least.
Yeah, so I feel like there's like a decent amount of anime where people will be like, oh my gosh, that anime amazing, blah, 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 whatever. And I'm just like, I put it in the it gets good category. There's good anime, and then the it gets good category. And do you think that's like, do you think that's a fair thing to like,
I think that's
that
fair.
shows on? Yeah, because that's how I view, like, I was gonna say Naruto, but actually Naruto's a bad example because
I feel like it's the opposite. Naruto's
no, it's the opposite. It was at a very, like, this Zabuza arc was potentially my favorite one, and then everything else I don't care about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would put Black Clover in the it gets good eventually. The shit. I want to say the Joestars, like JoJo's, JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. It gets good eventually.
There you go.
Like, anime that are good from start to finish. Code Geass.
That's true.
Start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
So, from episode 1, they were like, we're not playing around. Magical Girl Nanoha. I mean, if you're into that, I think it's cute. I like magical girls, and the premise was pretty good early on. Same thing with Madoka. Same thing with Magical Girl Raising Fire.
A lot of magical girl shows.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just I can think of any more. I think that's all I can think of off the top of my head of anime that are just like generally start off good and are considered by the anime community as a whole as good.
Yeah, and if you guys can think of any more, let us know in the comments. But
yeah, you know what? Another one that goes under the it gets good.
What?
Fruits Basket.
Well, yeah, you have to sit through the whole first season first. The first season had little points here and there. That
they had some good points, but so like it's
slow.
like
it's really slow.
It's really slow, and season 2 is just like it feels like a whole different anime. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, it kind of does. They definitely left all the good bits for the second season, which is not the best marketing strategy, actually. But whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever.
It really isn't. But yeah, I think that's pretty much how I feel on that. Let us guys. Let us know how you guys feel in the chat below. Yes. What do you think? What do you think? Qualifies as how long it takes for an anime to be considered good, and is it fair to judge an anime on how long it takes to get to that point? Let us know in the comments below.
It's a very interesting question, so we're interested in seeing you guys' opinions. But alas, we have reached the end of our podcast for this week. So if you did enjoy us speaking our minds, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you can catch us every week as the podcast goes up. If you haven't already, do join the party over on our Discord, follow us on Twitch, and follow us on Twitter. We are doing a lot more streaming on Twitch, so make sure you're there for that. If you want, you can even go that extra mile and become a member or join us on Patreon, like all these lovely patrons on screen right now who make this show possible. You also get a bunch of cool benefits, like you get to watch ReZero with us. We're watching with our patrons every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and you get access to our members-only Discord and all of that stuff. So if that sounds interesting, please consider it. And Drew, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Just, if you're watching an anime and you don't like it, don't review it.
Yes, and I want to add to that my bit of wisdom. If you're out there looking for a woman, make sure you find yourself a nice shizuru, and make sure you ignore all the mommies that enter your life. Mm-hmm. Until next time, this has been Soberoni and
We'll
catch you guys later. Later!
Bye!